diesel or gas. So you finally made the right decision to step up to that 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck. Wait a minute, you're still convinced that a 1/2 ton truck will work? Let me show you something real quick. You really want to know the difference between a 1/2 ton truck and a 3/4 ton truck or a 1 ton truck? Just crawl underneath it. Everything is beefier, not by a little, by a lot. The second place you need to look to find out why you need a 3/4 ton truck or bigger is right here on the door. Nothing worse with your 1/2 ton truck than finding out you can't take everything with you. Once you finally decide to step up to a bigger truck, you're going to need to make the next decision: gas or diesel. We're going to get to power, but before we do that, we're going to talk dollar and cents. Now, for this, I'm going to stick with the trucks I know. I've had 2 Fords, 1 gas, 1 diesel, same truck. I'm also going to be looking at fuel economy while towing, and I'm going to be using my trailer as an example. Historically, because of the efficiency of diesel, more miles per gallon, it was a really good deal. But given the price of diesel, it's only about a 4-cent advantage over gasoline right now. That's not that great. In addition to the cost of diesel, you also have to use DEF with a diesel. Newer models anyway. But that only comes to less than 1 cent per mile. Then there's the cost of oil. Diesel truck takes more oil than a gasoline truck. But even with the extra cost of oil and the extra oil filter, it's once again less than a penny per mile. I can hear people typing on the keypad right now. What about the fuel filter? Well, looked at that. And though you do have to change your fuel filter more often with the diesel, and it costs more, it still comes to less than a penny per mile. So if you're following, our 4-cent advantage with the diesel is dwindled down to about 2 cents once you take into consideration oil, DEF, and filter. Now, when you're talking heavy-duty trucks, it can be a $10,000 option to get the diesel. At 2 cents per mile advantage, it could take over 500,000 miles just to break even. Now, but that's not the end of the inquiry, because you have some other advantages with diesel as well. For one, they last a lot longer. And 2, they retain their value a whole lot better than gas. Let's talk about power. We have horsepower and we have torque. Horsepower, the gas and diesel aren't that far apart. But when you go to talk about torque, the diesel is way ahead. Now, in fairness, you probably have more torque with that diesel than you'll ever need. And the gas engines of today have about the same torque and power of the diesels of 20 years ago. So they can definitely handle most trailers. In summation, there are pros and cons to both the diesel and a gas engine. You'll actually spend more with the diesel on the front end, but you'll save more on the back end. That's just a decision you'll have to make. You don't absolutely need a diesel unless you have a really big rig, which then you probably already have a diesel. Another thing to consider is, I've never heard a single person who bought a diesel that said, I wish I would have gone gas.